It's Friday, Feedback Friday, the feedbackiest day of the week. It's Feedback Friday. Hello, I am still here. This has been a weird week. Hi, Scout. A really weird week. You want to come up, Scouty? Come on up. Come on up. This is cat time. This is what you get normally on Twitch. Yeah, it's been Stalker week. It's like Shark week, only more bizarre and kind of hilarious. It's been something to watch someone just lie and lie and lie and then ask people to support them on Ko-fi and lie and lie and call me a whole bunch of names about shit I don't care about and lie and then put a lie up on Patreon and paywall the lie. And do I care? No, because it's a lie. It's kind of amusing that Stalker went back to emails from 2011. I don't even have emails from 2011. The only reason I have the screen grabs I do is because I put that up on Tumblr during Gamergate because she went after me via the Ralph retort. Like, that's the only reason I have those. That entry, it's so weird. But this idea that anyone would pay to see an email from 2011 is just... But it's like, I've been calling it's like reading unfan fiction about myself. But I managed to get, and it's not therapy show done for the week. I managed to get all the content done for the week. I managed to see all my clients, even with this lunacy going on and low blood pressure that's leading to dizzy spells and needing to get blood work. I've never gotten blood work with a low blood pressure episode before. I know some people are like they have issues with describing medical stuff, so I'll spare. But that was a mood. And now Scout is here. And we love Scout. So I'll do the help support this channel. Don't forget about the workshop on April 29th. I haven't gone full bore advertising it yet, but I will. April 29th, 1 p.m. online. It's gonna be a good time, I think, but I'm biased. Help support this channel. Become a monthly patron, patreon.com/LeannaK, or buy a one-time Leanna Care session for someone who can use it but can't afford it, kofi.com/LeannaK. The Patreon video this week is it hailed here on Tuesday. So I went out and took a Patreon video, and I might do more of those. Those are kind of fun. Because normally I just tell patrons things behind the scenes. But this week, all the dirty laundry has been aired because it's the best thing to do when someone is lying about you online is the truth. This is something I learned the hard way, in part thanks to this damn stalker. Because if she's, or whoever, is talking trash, that's the only story out there. And, you know, back in the TV days, they're always like, just say nothing. They muzzle you. And so that's what I was trained to do. But I realized on the internet, it's better, full disclosure, complete honesty. Every nasty thing she said, I shared on Twitter and told my side. And you know what? People have been great. People have been absolutely great about it. And that tells me I'm doing something right. And that tells me you guys are awesome. A lot of people reached out and said, is there anything I can do? And I said, just sit back, enjoy the fireworks, get some popcorn, and laugh. Because that's the best thing to do. I mean, thanks to the people that let me know that she was bombarding the comment section of this channel with uh the same spam comment. I appreciate it because if if there was ever proof that I don't moderate comments, that it's that, right? That happened. I had to go in and manually remove two accounts. There was a third one. I don't know what happened. I don't know if YouTube flagged that one. Um, don't know. But yeah, it's been interesting, but you know, adversity shows you who the good people are. And there are a lot of good people that watch my content and communicate with me on Twitter. And that's really good. And the other update is I am no longer a blue check. I am so fucking thrilled. I got that thing during Gamergate. I didn't ask for it. They gave it to me because I was being impersonated by the fucking stalker. That was one of the funnier things about Gamergate, because even though Gamergate, didn't like me much at first, the stalkers showing up and they're like, this is bullshit. So, respect there. And that brings us to the actual feedback for the week, the comments, because I wasn't sure why it's bad to want a girlfriend video was gonna go. Because I was concerned that it would come across as kind of blaming the victim if somebody's taken advantage of, but that's not how people took it. A lot of people were like, not just me who thinks that way. So, okay, it seems like people like me more when I'm more real. So I'm going to experiment. Scout's biting my hand. I'm going to experiment with being more inner voice as opposed to, sanitized outer voice. We'll see how this goes. And the one of the comments that displays first was really good on the why it's bad to want a girlfriend video. Another reason to attend events you genuinely enjoy and not simply to meet someone. If you spend some number of hours of your life doing a thing you don't enjoy, work yourself up, finally talk to someone just to build rapport, keep attending the thing and talking to this person, and then when you ultimately tell them you're interested, you find out they're not interested at all, the weight of all that wasted time can potentially make you react extremely poorly, to say the least, as in misdirected anger, frustration, etc., which could be it yourself, but is probably being barfed up at another person who's getting blindsided. And that's good advice. When you have extremely poor self-image, it does leak out. If you have poor self-image and you feel like you're getting bad reactions from other people and you don't understand why, the two things can be related. The other thing I've found is people who have very poor self-image personalize things that aren't about them. And one thing about having a lot of things on the go, and I will talk about what's going on with Song of Sparklemuffin briefly at the end of this because some people have asked, is that you don't have time to dwell on why somebody did something. You're too busy. You're on to the next thing. But yeah, that was good advice. And one person suggested don't genital joust with crazy, with that, idiom I stumbled over. Genital jousts. I like that. Works for me. And I'm hesitant to use, when I use the term, I tend to say bad crazy. Like, don't genital joust with bad crazy. Good crazy, you want good crazy. All right? You want somebody who's a little bit crazy, but in a good way. Because someone who's good crazy, and maybe this will be the next Manly Monday, but somebody who's good crazy appreciates your good crazy. They don't try to stuff you in a box. All the people who are my very dear friends are some form of good crazy. And some of them are people who don't make a really good first impression, sometimes because they're very quiet. Because I'm one of those people who, if somebody's, sitting in the corner of a room somewhere, this is why I enjoyed event organizing before the stalker ruined it all. Because I am that person who sees somebody sitting there in the corner and I'll go over and talk to them. Because I was that person in the corner once. And I think that can really change somebody. I run we've named it the Authors Quorum now, bubble, the It's Not Therapy bubble. And man, that group is just it's only been 3-4 meetings and it's love, like High Scout. There's so much, it just worked out so well. And writing is it can be very isolating. And so we've thought of doing some others, because I do find that in terms of mental health, being able to get together with people who are, may struggle with mental health in the same way you do, but it's not about that. It's about talking about something you're good at and you enjoy. I don't know why, mental health facilities have not done stuff like this. Just have stuff where people are not their illness for 5 goddamn minutes. Well, okay, it's 90 minutes. And that doesn't mean you have to have a mental health problem to join one of our social bubbles. But I'm really curious to see how the seminar, the webinar style thing is going to go, because it's new. I lecture at college all the time, so it's very similar format, but very curious to see how that's going to go, because it's all an experiment. And the more I do this stuff, the more it puzzles me that other places aren't doing it, because it's so effective. If you think about it, right? If someone is really struggling mental health wise, and all they have for company is their illness, and all they think about is their illness, and all people pay attention to them for is their illness, is that illness going to get smaller, or is it going to get bigger? It's going to get bigger, right? People are things other than their mental health struggles. People are things other than their neurodivergencies. So just making things, friendly, aware of these things without being that obnoxious lefty, this is a safe space and we're going to wear name tags with our pronouns. And although that reminder is kind of useful, there's been a few instances of late there. It's been sort of, and it sort of works, because somebody uses non-binary pronouns, they'll just go they, and I'm like, I was gonna say something, but I tend to let people take the lead on correcting people. I don't want to be the person jumping in, and I was glad that somebody felt comfortable correcting people, and it was not a big deal. It didn't turn into a big thing. It was gentle. It was amazing. It's the way things should go. And I am both validated and incredibly frustrated, because this shit ain't that hard, right? It's so common sense. And speaking of which, I love the video. I love the comments that make it clear the person didn't watch the video. They just commented on the title. Because one of the comments, it's like, why it's wrong to want a girlfriend. because the male gaze is wrong for 1,000. That's the comment. It's like, if you had watched the video, you would realize how off that was. Always watch the video before you comment. One person said, no one owes you love. Self-love and care will build your esteem and establish better and healthy, interdependent relationships with others. And that's one of those things. It's true. It's completely true. But it's one of those things, people hear it and they're like, yeah, easy to say, you have it. Right? And I didn't always have it. And the thing about me is I came to it through real adversity, and I don't want anybody else to have to do it the way I did it, because it was hard, and I know a lot of people don't make it through that gauntlet. I want to make it easier for people to take the same steps I did, with far less, holy shit, my life is crazy, why does this stuff happen to me? And, people do say, Leanna, you attract some interesting people. It's like, yes, I do. That's just, it's my lot in life. One is that I've been in the media in one way or the other since I was like 9. But, I started doing it full time. And I'm very glad I'm not full time media anymore, because now I do the client sessions, and oh my God, I love that. I look forward. I mean, they're long days, Wednesdays and Thursdays, but I really look forward to them because, just to walk with people who want better for themselves, and to see them grow and get those successes and get what they deserve, because these are really good people. And to see them go from frightened and not confident and feeling terrible about themselves, and to see them go from that to, the people I see from the beginning, but the people they don't realize they are. It's so damn rewarding and humbling. But obviously the media stuff allowed me to do that. That's how anybody knows the business exists. I put myself out here. I make an ass of myself. Some people go, she looks like my kind of asshole, and they sign up. So I do the stuff that attracts the bad crazy, so that, we can share the good crazy, and the world's better off, because if somebody is more productive, then they put, as Moi Moi would say, their joy into the world. Moi Moi is one of my, it's not therapy facilitators, the bubbleheads. But every person that gets something out there, that does something they otherwise wouldn't do because life beat them down, that's good for the world, right? And so this, idea of self-love and self-care, it is this weird thing where it's like when I used to do acrobatics and competitive dance, something seemed impossible until you did it right a few times. And then all of a sudden you understood the muscle memory, and then it was there. And those healthy internal habits and external habits are the same way. Once you learn how to tell yourself better stories about your own experience, it's amazing how second nature it becomes. And I swear, some of that was what Stan Lee had, rest in peace. George Perez had that same, rest in peace again, had that same vibe about him. Darwin Cook was, I loved the guy. He was a crusty bastard, but I loved the guy. He had an optimism about him, but it came out in a different way. Darwin helped people through actions. he was very grumpy in words, but both George and Stan were, you just felt good being around them. And they were both the type of creators where they put a lot of the details of the people they knew and their own lives into their work because they thought it mattered. And I really do think and that's why I say be the hero of your own story, because when you think what you do matters, other people think it matters. And it can seem very arrogant. It doesn't mean you're the best thing in the world. It doesn't mean it's the most important thing in the world. It's just, it matters. It matters. That time you sat and listened to a friend who was going through a bad time, that matters. You have no idea how much that matters. And you don't need money. You don't need a whole lot of fame. You don't need a degree to do that, right? Helping people. You never know when that person is going to just take off and you were a part of that, right? And that's their story. That's not your own story. But, if you treat yourself as the protagonist of your own story, and, you team up with other protagonists of other stories, well, then you get the Avengers, and that's fucking cool, right? Because if you're all superheroes, you're a superhero team. But that, self-love is a learned skill. We do not have it from birth because we're not born with an individuated identity. We have to learn it. We have to figure out who we are and separate from our parents and other adult, there's a reason we call it role models. Because they can model the role, but they can't be you. And the process of individuating is trial and error. Because you have to see things. You have to try things, see if they work, see if they don't work. It can be very painful. Because you end up going down the wrong path sometimes, and it takes a while to figure that out. But there's no such thing as wasted time. I mean, I started peer counseling in the 11th grade. And, I didn't do it for a very long time. And then I kind of stumbled back into it because Twitch streams were becoming group therapy sessions. And I was getting real sort of uncomfortable about people divulging so much of themselves in a public area. And it's their call. I'm not going to tell them to stop if they feel comfortable, but it's like, hey, maybe a more private one-on-one thing. And somebody said to me today that I'd used a comment from them in an interview on the It's Not Therapy podcast. And they said, hey, that's me. And they said it was really cool to hear that I'd said something useful. And I was like, all right, that's cool. Because I'm kind of careful what I share in that regard, because that is the intent, right? For somebody to feel like they matter, like their ideas matter. That it is a shared wisdom. It isn't, oh, I'm going to go get a degree and so I know everything and use the tools and all that. No, it's not like that. It's, I'm going to take a smart thing that one person says and try it on another person to see if it works. And most of the time it works amazing. And that's community, right? That's environment. That's this underestimated element. And I wish I could do Twitch more often just because the Europeans get shafted. I've been thinking of doing like one weekday a month, but I don't know. But yeah, that self-love thing, I'm going to keep that in mind for other things. One person told the story of like their first marriage. They wanted a girlfriend and they wound up with somebody with a serious mental health condition that wasn't treated. And then when, um, they met their current spouse, they weren't looking for anyone to fill a role. And so they knew when it was the right person. Now, I want to take one more comment because this one just made me laugh, and maybe it's more appropriate for Manly Monday, but I don't want to start shit. I'm very careful with Manly Monday because I don't want anybody to feel like I'm throwing jabs at men. That's content for men. And I talk all the time about, no content is for everybody. And, so that's for men. So it would be stupid to attack men in content for men. Not that I ever intend to attack men, but sometimes it's like, this is the female point of view, real talk. That's what Two Women Talking is for. Even though I am certainly not the default. Girly girl perspective, that is Song. And we love Song. Song and I are going to dig into season 3 of The Mandalorian the next time we record. That's going to be a barn burner. But here's the last comment. Leanna, you are slowly drifting into Manosphere-ish waters. Welcome aboard. The water is tropically warm. It is interesting to hear the female counterpoint. No. It is not the Manosphere waters. I tried dialoguing with Manosphere stuff. And the problem with the Manosphere is it is anti-woman. And so I learned the hard way that it isn't actually a dialogue. They're just finding, women as useful idiots. That the minute you say one thing wrong, my experience was, as usual, I am just, everything's larger than life with me. I'm not going to sing the Backstreet Boys. Yes, I am. That makes you larger than life. There you go, Blazin'. I apologize. But I tried a few times. And one time, a guy who actually knew me in person, which is why I was giving him a lot of rope, had me dogpiled for an inference drawn from something I'd said. And I said to the guy, tell them this is not me, these assumptions. And he basically said, well, this was pretty much the wording. You brought this on yourself. This is for your own good. And I realized he was kind of right, because the Manosphere is a place where misogyny is a feature, not a bug. And that's the opposite to, it's not what Song and I call black pill feminism, but also the more almost, red pill feminism, but that's not even right? Because the stupid thing about the whole red pill thing becoming that is red pill is supposed to see the truth. And these are all these extremes, and it's not even extremes, right? It's just they're fucking wrong. And because black pill feminism are people who have given up. Things like the TERFs and these man-hating spheres of feminism. Because I consider myself, and this is not the definition other people use, but I consider myself a radical feminist. I am not compromising when it comes to equality. And I do believe that in many parts of the world, including many subcultures in North America, women are not equal. And that matters. Menstruation taboos around the world, the fact that girls in certain countries are discouraged from going to school, they can't go to school when they're on their periods, so on and so forth. These are all solvable problems. Sex selective abortions, all that stuff. But, I don't hate men. That is not the fault of individual men. And so, no, the Manosphere and I have nothing in common. The same way the TERFs and the man-hating feminists and I have nothing in common. We may say things that sound similar, but the underpinnings are absolutely not the same. Language is more art than science. Communication is inexact. And that's why I end up with very different takes on things than, say, Anita Sarkeesian. Done the same reading, even went to the same goddamn school. Very different takes. Because I don't start with the assumption men are bad with some exceptions, right? Same way I've done all the same reading as Jordan Peterson, but I don't come to the same conclusions as him because I think actually, well, what I learned regarding trauma is that you need to invite in the chaos. There's a reason Loki's my dude. Like, I know I joke about the MCU, but that's just the one that people know, and Tom Hiddleston's fucking great in that part. But, a little chaos, a moderate amount of chaos is good for you. And things hurt much less when you need less control, because then you bend, you don't break. And so, a lot of the stuff at the root, the stuff that Jordan Peterson doesn't come up with, the stuff he just borrows from Jung and the ancient Greeks and even some, Christian thinking. It's all fairly solid. Don't agree with all of it, but, there's something to it. But I don't believe he thinks order is the goal, that, duty or purpose is the goal. And that's the whole thing I hate about the tagline glorious purpose with Loki in the MCU. A mischief god. And they even call him the god of friggin' chaos. So why was he seeking purpose? That's fucking stupid. Because the purpose of mischief is mischief. Mischief is a teacher. Everything in life is not going to make sense. And it's like that part in Disco Elysium, if you do the Inland Empire stuff, that there's something that happens and it's just like a moment. And it's a beautiful moment and it's sublime. And it's like, what did that mean? It's like the side quests in Yakuza. That was weird. Some of them tie into later games. Some of them are runners, but sometimes they're just quirky experiences where you help a hostess hunt down a panty thief. And that's life. That's where the beauty and joy of life comes from. Those weird moments. And Scout. Right, Scout? That's why I let my cats crawl all over me. Right? Oh, I don't let you? Right. You just do it? All right. You're watching me talk to a cat, and there's actually Scout. Yeah, hi, buddy. Okay. Come say bye, Scout. Come say bye to everybody. Okay, there's Scouty. Scouty's going to say bye. Okay, everybody. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye. Help support this channel. Become a monthly patron. Patreon.com/LeannaK. Or buy a one-time Leanna Care session for somebody who can use it but can't afford it. Ko-fi.com/LeannaK. 6. We're trying for 6 by the end of the month. 6 more by the end of the month. Don't forget the workshop on April 29th. Link in the description box below. I've lost the bed for the sign-off. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend. It's been a long week.